Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to look at how to sideboard against the top 10 most popular decks in Standard with Mono Red Aggro. Now, if you're looking for an analysis of the deck or anything like that, I posted a deck tech about a week ago. You should check that out. This is just going to solely focus on Standard, so let's jump into it. I think I meant solely focus on the sideboard, but that's okay. So as far as sideboard goes, Lithomantic Barrage is good against these white and blue creatures and planeswalkers, obviously. Torch the Tower, very good against the aggressive decks, and the exile can sometimes really matter. Twisted Fealty, when your opponent is casting a bunch of very powerful big boy creatures. Urbra's Forge against decks with board wipes or a lot of removal or looking to go really long with you. Witchstalker Frenzy, really good against decks that have 5 or less toughness blockers and they plan on blocking us. And then Sunspine Lynx is very good against decks that don't play a lot of basic lands, but also against decks that are looking to gain life. With that being said, the most popular deck in Standard is Temir Midrange. Against Temir Midrange, Lithomantic Barrage is awesome, especially since it can't be countered. Torch Tower is pretty good as well, being able to take out all of their creatures, and especially taking out Enduring Curiosity like forever. That being said, we don't want to overdo it with our removal, so I like taking out the Witchstalker Frenzy, and they have an insane amount of removal as well, and they're really not looking to block a lot of the time, so we're going to take out Summon of Monstrous Rage, and that's how I sideboard against Temir. The second most popular deck in Standard is Golgari Midrange. Against Golgari Midrange, Witchstalker Frenzy is a little bit better, and Torch the Tower is, and Lithomantic Barrage obviously, are a little bit worse. I like Sunspine Lynx, because while they have a pretty large amount of basics, they are looking to gain life, and that can kind of stop it. Stops the Crazy Gix command, you know, things like that. Or I guess it can stop the Crazy Gix command. It can just make you sacrifice it. And I like Urbra's Forge. It's kind of hard for them to deal with, especially if they're looking to gain life or just deal with our stuff. Monstrous Rage is coming out first and foremost. They have even more removal than Temir. And I'm actually not a big fan of Screaming Nemesis because they have an insane amount of removal and they can just remove it. And that's kind of bad because if they're just removing it with non-damage, Screaming Nemesis kind of loses his point. So that's how I sideboard against Golgari Midrange. The third most popular deck is Gruul Prowess, and just to let you know, the Mono Red deck is also the 8th most popular deck, and we're going to sideboard the same against Gruul Prowess and Mono Red. And the Gruul Aggro deck, which is the 6th most popular deck, we're going to sideboard the same against essentially all 3 of them. So Gruul Prowess, Gruul Aggro, and Mono Red Prowess being the 3rd, the 6th, and the 8th most popular decks. The way we're going to sideboard against that is the Torch the Tower, obviously. Need as much removal as possible. And the Witchstalker Frenzy. I'm going to cut probably the worst card in the deck, which is a Monastery Swiftspear, and then shave on a Monstrous Rage, just so they very often have a lot of removal. And this is how I'm going to sideboard against the Red Aggro decks. The 4th most popular deck is the Esper Self Bounce deck. Against this deck, Lithomantic Barrage is pretty solid. Also a fan of Sunspine Lynx because they do gain a reasonable amount of life, especially post-board. And I'm a fan of Torch the Tower, just removing things from being in the way. We have to take out the Monstrous Rage just because they have an insane amount of removal, even bounce removal. And similarly, Screaming Nemesis is not so good just because often we just have to recast it over and over and over and it just does nothing. So it's on the sideboard against the Esper Pixies or Esper Self Bounce deck. The 5th most popular deck is the Jeskai Convoke deck. Against Jeskai Convoke, we like Lithomantic Barrage, we like Witchstalker Frenzy. Again, we're just getting things out of the way. I'm a fan of Sunspine Lynx, so they are unable to gain life. And then we're just going to be cutting down on Lightning Strikes, because meh. And Monastery Swiftspear, and that's how I'm going to sideboard against the Jeskai Convoke deck. Lightning Strike just isn't that good. The 6th most popular deck is Gruul Aggro. We've already talked about that. And the 7th most popular deck is Domain. Against Domain, Twisted Fealty is super good. Sunspine Lynx is super good as well. And Witchstalker Frenzy is also very, very good. We are sideboarding out of our Lightning Strikes because it doesn't actually kill anything. And similarly with Burst Lightning. And that's how I'm going to sideboard against the Zero Overlord's Domain deck. The 8th most popular deck is Mono Red, which is the mirror match. We've already talked about that. And so we're going to talk about the Mono White token control deck. Against this deck, Urbra's Forge is obviously great because they're looking to go super, super long with us. Like Lithomantic Barrage, so they can get rid of their Planeswalkers and, you know, all that stuff. Phasas, whatever. And then we're going to be taking out Lightning Strike. It doesn't really kill anything in our opponent's deck. We kind of have to keep the Monstrous Rage in, even though they have a ton of removal, because we need a way to get through the insects. So we're just going to shave like on a single Burst Lightning. That's how I'm going to sideboard against Mono White tokens. And the 10th most popular deck is the Azorius convoke deck, the Regal Bunnicorn whatever deck. Against this deck, we're going to side in Lithomantic Barrage. We're going to side in Torch the Tower. This spot removal is actually a little bit better against them. I like Sunspine Lynx because Shelter by Ghost is super scary. And then Witchstalker Frenzy. We're going to be taking out Monstrous Rage. I'm not a fan of Swift Spear, and we're going to shave on a Screaming Nemesis. That's why I sideboard against Azorius Convoke. That's how I sideboard against the top 10 most popular decks in Standard with Mono Red. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social media. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.